Jim was in his early 30s when he came to London from Australia, where he lived with his mother. "I came for a week, and I stayed. The usual story is that I lost my documents. Booty never found a job. I was interrupted by casual earnings. I created a group, but it didn't work out. It turned out that the only true friend was heroin. This friendship almost cost Jim his life. He managed to slow down already on the very edge. Of course, a difficult childhood was to blame for everything. Although when you are over 30, there is no difference who is to blame. You begin to vaguely guess that you made all this mess yourself. James's mom traveled half the world in search of herself, lived here and there, never staying anywhere for long. She lost her son in these wanderings. A sullen teenager with a monstrous accent, became an outcast in every new school. The only thing he knew how to do in life was to play the guitar, but they didn't take him to decent places. In London, he performed at Covent Garden Square. James was assisted by a municipal program, since he had English citizenship. The municipality also provided housing, a tiny apartment on the outskirts of London, a poor quarter, dirty, a light bulb the entrance is not lit, but for the first time, its nest. One day in March, James saw a cat in the entrance. A big red cat was sitting quietly on the mat by the door, either nobody's, or lost. The next day the cat was in the same place. Thin, with bald spots in his fur. Where should I put the cat? I'm barely feeding myself, James thought, but he felt sorry for the cat, decided to treat him. And then maybe the owner will be found. Time passed. The cat was treated. His fur shone, fat grew on his ribs. The cat walked by himself, left and came. Buddha did not hurry to disappear back to where he came from. Behaved as if he now has a master. For the sake of the cat, Jim had to go to official authorities for the first time. He usually avoided it. The cat received an electronic chip. Looking at the document in which he was recorded as the owner of the animal, James thought that his life, which was flowing through his fingers, was gaining some kind of density for the first time. Now he was responsible not only for himself. He gave the cat a name, Bob. One day James took the cat with him to work in Covent Garden. And I found that, firstly, in the hustle and bustle of the street, the cat feels like a fish in water, and secondly, you can earn more with a cat. By the end of the day, the backpack was heavy with coins. Jim shared the unprecedented revenue in a brotherly way with a companion. He bought good food for the cat, and fed himself in a restaurant. Selling the magazine could have been James's first step on the career ladder, but he was well aware that this step was impossible until he was finally cured of drug addiction. All this time, James took methadone, was treated under a substitution therapy program. This is prohibited in Russia. That is, instead of one drug, he officially received another. Taking the pills, James could go about his business, without fear that withdrawal will begin. But methadone was a time bomb. The scheme and the time of reception could not be violated. This is the first stage of the program. If a person expressed a desirado finally break with drugs, it was necessary to negotiate with a doctor in order to gradually change the scheme. The culmination was 2 days that had to be spent without pills. James was very afraid of withdrawal, but the cat became the decisive argument. There was no one to feed him except James. The cat helped and held out. He, as a nurse, spent 2 terrible days with him. Jim was delirious, trembling and tossing in nightmares, and the cat was purring and soothing, sort of holding his hand. There was no one closer to the cat. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel where you will find many more interesting things, as well as put likes and write comments on what you think about this story.